Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Real Life, Real Terror, and today we're going to do something a little bit different, and that is figure out a person's background. So, you're dealing with, you've got someone new come into your life, and that might be a new manager, a new director, or even a potential love interest. And you kind of want to know a little bit more about them. But perhaps before you even open your mouth and talk to them, you kind of want to know what their deal is. Or maybe you've spoken to them quite a few times and you want to know something that perhaps they won't necessarily voluntarily disclose. So we're going to look at a spread called the background spread. Now, the background spread actually comes from a role-playing game. That's a tabletop role-playing game that uses the tarot to basically generate characters, scenarios, maps, challenges, and so on. So this game is called Querent. You can find it on Drive through RPG, and I'm going to put a link in the bio for this video, just so that if you really like the idea of this kind of reading, yeah, you can definitely get the source material and play a game like that. Now, I took that spread from that game because I kind of felt that it had more than just an application within the game. It can be used to figure out people, especially say if you don't know who they are and would like to know more. Now, this spread uses 2 decks. So if you don't have 2 decks, get yourself a second deck. There are plenty of decks on Facebook Marketplace, Depop, wherever, but you absolutely need 2 decks, and we're going to look into why. Now, the first part of this is going to look at major and minor life events that have shaped our person's background, and the second deck is going to look at different aspects of their life: family and home life, occupation, area of study, important person. Now, say for example, I happen to know their occupation, I might actually use one of the cards to actually mark that, and then just deal out the others. But we'll go into that a little bit later. Now, I need to actually have a specific person in my mind to actually show this spread off. So I'm going to just have a think, and bingo. I think I want to know more about one particular person in my workplace. Okay. So we're going to put this deck aside, and we're going to look at their life events. The first thing you need to do is split your deck number 1 into major arcana and minor arcana. I took the liberty of doing that so you didn't have to deal with me fumbling through all my cards and wasting time doing that. So putting the minor arcana aside, we're going to then shuffle our deck with the intention of figuring out our characters, so hold their image in mind, and then this card is going to be used to deal 3 cards that will determine the major life events of our character. Okay. Okay. And there we go. 3 major life events that have shaped our person. The next thing we do is shuffle 3 cards, shuffle the minor arcana, and deal 3 cards that will form the minor life events connected to our character's major life events. Alright, okay. Alright, so we're going to look at this in detail, and then what we're going to do is put this a little bit aside and look at their background, hobbies, and so on. Okay, so just bringing this forward, and then I'm going to actually show both. Let me have a quick look at the camera for... Yep, there we go. Okay, great. So, what can this reading tell us? Now, a little bit about the spread. When playing Querent, it does come with extensive charts as to what each of the cards will mean in reference to their major and minor life events. However, I don't use any of that because for the purpose of what we're doing, we don't really need the references related to game characters because this isn't the game. Now, the other thing is the spread originally has it all with upright cards, so no reversals. I kind of feel that that's not necessarily useful since we all have minor events and major events that are tragic, and it's important that the tarot also reflects that through the reversals. So, yep, let's look at event number 1. We have the Fool, and we have the 3 of Cups. So looking at the Fool, what we can say is that our character perhaps set out on a journey, took a risk with her life, and perhaps took a road that she, isn't typically traveled. I can guess that perhaps our character decided to take a bold and brave risk. Perhaps they made a career change. Perhaps they tend to be a little bit more innocent and naive and tend not to actually, read people that easy. But my gut tells me that our character that we're talking about, our person, decided to do something brave and perhaps change their career path quite significantly, not fully knowing where it may lead. Minor life event connected with it is the 3 of Cups, and I can say that what our character found is a very emotionally rewarding labor, one that has a strong sense of team, a supportive team where they all share the same goal, and basically it's paid off for her. She took a risk, and she found her people through her work. Now, I happen to know that our character does not have any family members, which is why I did not interpret this in the context of her family. I strongly suspect, because I'm looking at someone that is connected to my work, that this event, major, minor, is connected to her work, their work. Okay, second major event, the world. We know that the world card often talks about completion, ends of chapters, ends of cycles, and conclusions. It is a goal. It is a happy ending, and perhaps it's an ending that shows wisdom gained from life experience. The world card here, and I suspect this is again work related, is perhaps that our character does not want to retire, does not want to move on to the next stage of her life. She believes she's still young. She believes that, she's still got a lot to learn and a lot to contribute, and so she chooses not to go. Instead, she throws herself into her work, into being a leader, into being a manager, and to being a guiding spirit for other people. So the major life event here is, I guess, is that she does not wish to end her current stage of her life. She wishes to stay and she wishes to work. Another major life event of our main character here is that it's likely that we see the moon reversed, and the moon reverse often talks about illusions, but perhaps it also talks about darkness and not necessarily listening to your intuition when you should be. I suspect that our character here is unclear as to how to move forward, how to move ahead, and they are kind of struggling in this respect. Perhaps they're stuck on an issue, and the road forward seems to be very unclear as to how they may choose to act. This other aspect is that our character tends not to listen to their intuition, to their inner voice as to what they need to do, and so they kind of end up being stuck. We also have the Four of Wands reversed. Now, the Four of Wands typically is a card that symbolizes marriage. It symbolizes a milestone achievement in that towards a goal of creation and creative expression. And towards, I guess, achieving something that is passionate to you. This card typically is related to work, but the aspect of your work that has to do with your creative direction and your direction and values. Being that it's reversed, what I can suggest and what I suspect, only because I know what this person is going through right now at work, is that the team isn't super happy. The team is unclear, and they don't feel like they are fulfilled. I suspect this is the same for her as well. The work isn't enjoyable, and I guess the work isn't, it isn't as fulfilling as it needs to be. It's not connecting with her values, and it's a little bit unclear. So what we can also do is connect the two cards together, which is why these two cards are placed together, major and minor. So first we have the Fool and the Three of Cups. When we see a character that's set out on a journey to find, basically on a chosen path. And what they found was a sense of team and a sense of community, a connection of the opportunity to work with people with a common sense of common interest. And she stayed exactly where she found her people. We also see someone who does not wish to let go. So someone who still believes that they're on a path to contribute and in their work. And someone who is a strong leader, passionate, committed, connected to the vision and values. We also see someone here who is unsure as to how things are progressing in the future. They may have made a choice as to stay, but they don't know what the future looks like. But being that this is a thematic card, what I can see is that this is not the first time that they've been unclear as to where things are going. Being disconnected from their intuition, or their intuition is a common theme in their life. And at the moment, what it's showing is that there seems to be a sense of discord in the work, in the people around them. and the work isn't giving that kind of results. Alright. Sorry. If I'm pausing, it's because I'm yawning and I'm not sure why I'm so tired. Perhaps it's because I played computer games till very late last night, and it is finally having an effect. We now take our second deck, and we use this deck to shuffle and deal 5 cards, and I'll explain what those cards mean. Now, actually, I'm going to do that right now. So, what I'm going to look for is the card relating to occupation. I know what my character's occupation is, so I kind of want to actually mark that out as being certain about it. So the remaining ones will help us figure out what's going on in those aspects of her life. So let's begin. Okay. Family and home life. Occupation. An important person. Hobby and area of study. And their mentor. This part of the reading is meant to add more color and depth to the person that you're doing this for, or the character that you're using this for in your role-playing game. But it kind of helped figure that it's really useful to help us understand what kind of background, what they enjoy doing. Now, I think, so as I know the person's occupation, I pulled out the card for them and that I thought best represented their occupation, and that is the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins is typically a supervisor in the work context, and they have a team, they manage a team, but they're not the ultimate decision maker, which is why I thought this card was most appropriate. Our main character also has his star sign Capricorn, which is best exemplified by the Queen of Coins. So I did my homework. Take that. Now, let's have a look at the rest. The first card we have is someone we deem an important person. Who do we have here? We have the Page of Wands. And what this kind of suggests is that there is a person in their life that is young, passionate, expressive, perhaps a bit of an idealist, but their primary focus is creative self-expression. This is someone who's, perhaps intensely sexual, perhaps intensely intense in the sense of they know what they want, but they also very curious to try a whole lot of things and explore, diversity of life and what it has to offer. With that, it's reversed tells me that this person might be someone who is manipulative, childish, hot-tempered, and impulsive as well. So whoever their important person is, it's likely a young person, perhaps a nephew, perhaps a daughter or son, but there is a young person in their life that is pretty important to them. And this person might be a bit of an asshole. Okay. Hobby and area of study. So if this person has an area of study, this would exemplify it, but I know that our character does not have area is not studying, so this could likely mean hobby. I do strongly believe that this is the Two of Wands, by the way, and our main character in this is someone who is getting ready to, plan the next world trip. I know for a fact that the person I'm doing this about or for is someone who loves to travel and travel big. So it's perfectly apt that this person enjoys planning the next trip. So yeah, mentor. We have here the Knight of Cups, and what we see in the Knight of Cups is someone who is, I guess, a bit of a wanderer, a bit of an adventurer, someone who is compassionate by nature and cares strongly about helping those who are less fortunate, but also connected to the world quite deeply. So I suspect that if they have a mentor, it's someone that is, someone who is deeply connected to the world and its problems and enjoys actually going out into that world and making a difference. Finally, home and family life. We have the Page of Cups here. If this card, this card basically tells us what their home life is like. With the Page of Cups, I know for a fact that this person does not have kids. I also would say that the Page of Cups reversed suggests that there's not a lot of exploration, emotional exploration. There's not a lot of going on in the home life. It's a bit barren in the sense that there's no one at home waiting for them of any major significance. So, that would be my reading of that card. Now, it could also be there is someone malfunctioning, I guess a spoiled child, but I strongly suspect that that there is no one at home that provides an emotionally fulfilling aspect. So what is to suggest that the important person may also be that, in that there is an absence of an important person in their life, given that it is a page reversed. And this is very true. It is quite possible that there is no one significant to them in their life, or perhaps if there was, that person could have left them. So that's my background read for a person that I'm trying to figure out more about what it is, well, who they are as a person, beyond what they present at work. So let me know what you think. Let me know if this is a spread that you would use in your life or could greatly benefit from. But this is a spread I would happily do for anyone looking to know more about a person that they are connected to. I would likely charge because it does take a lot of time to pull something like this off. Anyway, that's it from me. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers.